This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
Edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. Hope everybody is doing well. We're diving into yet another 2026 way too early mock draft. Chase, we just went through the list. Just a refresher if anybody's just tuning in. Alabama has 4 guys in this list. Again, last couple lists have 2, maybe 3, but this one has 4. And if you think that's a lot, well, don't worry. They've got Clemson with like 6. And this is Todd McShay. Again, you guys know Todd McShay, very frequent NFL Network, breaking down NFL drafts, NFL, all that stuff, right? So he's reliable. Now, does that mean he's right? Absolutely not. Nobody's perfect on this, which I'm going to go back and look at some way too early 2025 mock drafts and compare them. And I'll do that while we get Chase your initial reaction real quick, if you don't mind, man. I'm just curious what you think about this list. Again, first guy taken off the board from Alabama, he has wide receiver Jeremy Bernard, number 12, going to Seattle, joining his former college quarterback in Jalen Milroe. Then you've got Deontay Lawson at 15, Damani Jackson at 16, cornerback, and then Caden Proctor, 23rd overall. Any of those 4, number one, how probable do you think it is seeing these guys drafted in the first round of the 2026 NFL draft? And 2, any shockers, anything? What comes to mind when you hear that list, Chase?
I'm not really concerned. I think when you compare it to this year's draft, you didn't really see a lot of turnover like we usually do with like the Alabama Invitational. That's what I call it. But I'm looking at the 16th pick with Damani Jackson. I think that's interesting. I think he's a higher pick. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people this year. I'm surprised Todd doesn't have him higher instead of just so many Clemson guys. Am I missing the memo, Christian? Is it like Clemson's year? Am I behind the loop? Somebody call in and tell me, but it's just a lot of Clemson players in the first round. That's crazy.
I agree with you on that part 100%, bro. I was looking at it and I'm like, what am I missing about Clemson? Now, obviously, I grew up in South Carolina. I was not a Clemson fan at all. Hadn't really kept up with them like that. I mean, I give them respect. I mean, I played them in 3 national championship games. Unfortunately, won 1, lost the other 2, including my senior year, them beating us down in California. But no, Chase, I didn't know their roster was so stacked. Now, again, this is a mock draft by one person. It's his opinion. It's obviously subjective. But in my opinion, the fact that he's still, and again, this is a reputable guy. I'm not saying he's perfect, but I'm just saying, like, this isn't like, a guy from Bleacher Report. Nothing against Bleacher Report, but you get what I'm saying. Like, say just like a, writer. I mean, this guy has been working NFL Network, covering, being an analyst for years. Have that many guys in the first round, you got to have some talent. So, I mean, if anything, what I'm taking away from this mock draft is maybe I need to go turn on some tape and go watch these guys from Clemson, because if you've got 6 guys mocked in a first round, way too early mock draft, whatever it's called, I mean, to me, they clearly got a lot of talent on that roster. In terms of what you said about Damani Jackson, 100% agree with you, man. To me, he's a guy that he's quietly good, right? And the reason I say that is, and he definitely made some plays. Let me pull up his stats real quick now. But it's not like he's going to just jump off the stat sheet, so to speak. But if you talk to anybody in the building, man, they'll tell you, I mean, that dude is probably their best cover man. Obviously, you got the young buck on the other side, Xavier Brown, who's extremely talented himself. But Damani last season, I mean, actually did have some really good numbers. 51 total tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 7 pass deflections. I think he kind of started off a little quiet in the year, but the thing is with him, Chase, I'm telling you, if you ask anybody, they'll tell you he's probably their best cover guy. I mean, he's solid, great technique. He's got the clamps on him, and he kind of doesn't get he low key doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion. So I respect Todd for throwing him on this list, because that tells me he actually is watching the tape and he sees the talent that Damani has. I definitely think something like that could come to fruition, right? I think right now a lot of people probably would have him more in that second round range. Just given, I think they're waiting to see what he does this year. Look, if he comes back this season and recreates even that production, that's solid production right there, Chase. But even if he just has a great year, very sound year, stays healthy, I definitely think he could hear his name called in the first round of the 2026 NFL draft. 12, Jeremy Bernard. Chase, that's the only one that I'm kind of intrigued by. Now, I will say this. I know we didn't have a spring game this year, but there still was scrimmages, right? Like there always has been. Shout out to Ballard Sports Media. He says, Roll Tide. Roll Tide, man. Again, we are live over on our YouTube channel. So again, shout out to everybody who's checking us out on YouTube. I think we had some technical stuff coming up the first 30 minutes or so, but it looks like we've got it fixed now. People are rolling in. And again, shout out to everybody that's hanging out with us here. But I did attend all the scrimmages from the spring. And I will say the second to last scrimmage, because they did a scrimmage. What was it, a Thursday? I think they did, because 8A was Saturday. They did a scrimmage Thursday. They had a practice, I think Friday, like a light practice, and 8A Saturday, excuse me. But I went to the second to last scrimmage. And I would just say this. Ryan Williams sat out, and Jeremy Bernard was that number one guy. And I'm just going to tell you, he did not disappoint. Sorry, as I take a sip of water, I cannot clear my throat. Excuse me. But he did not disappoint. I mean, he literally, I don't know what his stats were from the scrimmage. I wasn't keeping track. But I'll just say this. I mean, he made play after play, contested catches in traffic, took a couple shots, this dude he looked to be a true wide receiver number one. So I'll just say this. I mean, who knows what can happen? I don't know. I mean, seeing him as a number one wide receiver, and in terms of like a first round draft pick, second, I would feel more comfortable saying, but see 12, and not just the number of first round draft pick, they got him at 12. The receivers ahead of him, they got Nick Harbor out of South Carolina, right? That's the guy who's like a freaky athlete, right? Everybody's using him on NCAA, the video game, because he's like tall and it's like, I think he's got one of the highest speeds on there. But that would put him at the number 2 wide receiver taken. So I don't know. I'd have to go back and really look at, I guess, the rest of college football, the other wide receivers. But to me, I think that's a little high, personally. Even though I did see him display a lot of improvement just as recent as one of the spring scrimmages. Again, I think he's going to have a big year. But you look at him also being paired up with the guy, Ryan Williams, it could go one of two ways. I mean, just think about this, Chase. Normally, for like a wide receiver 2, like in that role, what can happen is they see their production increase, because think about it. Everybody's going to be, who are they going to be putting their eyes on? Ryan Williams. That can give him a lot of opportunities, and I can see him having a lot of good production. Or you also could see it being where Ryan Williams is being targeted so much it kind of limits a little bit of his production. We'll see. But to me, to be taken as a second wide receiver over, I mean, you got to be a dog. You got to be that dude, and you've got to have that production. Receiver is one of those positions, Chase, that I feel like in the draft, let me just say, Xavier Legette is an exemption, I would say, because his production was a little limited, but they just saw the traits, right, the potential, and he ended up being a first-round draft pick. The size, the speed. You can get drafted off potential, but at receiver, I feel like they definitely want to see more production. To me, that's a position where like you'll see a defensive end, offensive lineman, other positions that might not have the most production, but they're still taken very high because it's just hard to find those guys. Receivers like a dime a dozen. So to me, if he's going to be the 12th overall pick, his production's got to be through the roof. And for that to happen, I mean, either A, Ryan Williams has to, be, I guess, so focused on that it opens him up, or B, I don't know. To me, in my head, I'm just imagining Ryan Williams going into year 2 having probably 60% of the targets at the bare minimum. That being said, those are probably the biggest, I guess, not shockers, but just things that actually, no, let me finish real quick, Chase. Deontay Lawson at 15th overall. That would put him as the number 1 linebacker off the board. So, look, I'm high on Deontay Lawson. I like him. I did say last year I thought Jihad probably was the best linebacker we had. I feel confident in saying that I probably was right on that, given that he ended up being a first-round pick this year, had a hell of a year, the most productive linebacker. That being said, Deontay coming off an injury, being the first backer off the board, I think it might be a little high as well. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm being pessimistic or anything. I'm just, you guys know we're honest here. I'm giving you my football take, right? I think realistically, I would say Caden Proctor with him, and I know a lot of people are like, come on, man, you're down the other guys who, all productive and this and that. You're talking about Caden Proctor, but here's the thing, guys. As an offensive lineman, offensive tackle, 3-year starter at the University of Alabama, then if he plays much better this season, that shows each year he's gotten better, he's going to be a first-round draft pick. Same thing me and my dad have been saying for a couple years now, right? Even when everybody saw him struggling, was like, oh, hell no way. Look, man, that's how this thing works. Offensive linemen, you can't find them. So they're going to take their chances with them. In my opinion, I see us having Caden Proctor, a guy like maybe Damani Jackson, definitely maybe squeezing his way in there. Excuse me. And I'm not saying Deontay couldn't, but nowadays, like, linebackers going in the first round, man, especially just middle linebackers. Like Jihad, yes, he was an inside linebacker, but look at the versatility. I mean, you could play him on the edge. I mean, he was an edge guy when he got to Alabama. They transitioned him to middle linebacker because of depth and injuries, and he flourished at both. Even this past year when they asked him to go back to edge to help provide some edge presence. Clearly, when you have that type of versatility and production like he had, I mean, you got first round written all over you. Deontay Lawson, really good inside linebacker, but there's still some facets to his game that I want to see improve, which I can say that about everybody. But I couple that with coming off the injury, I think this might be a little high, personally. So I would say, to me, the more accurate ones would probably be Caden, maybe Damani, which might surprise some people. But I'm just saying, I'm telling you, Damani is a guy I think he's gonna fly up draft boards if he has another good year. So that being said, Chase, we got to hit another timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling. Looks like we got some folks lining up on the phone lines. 205-342-9904 is the number. We want to hear from you guys. Shout out to everybody on the YouTube stream as well. If you guys got any questions, you can drop them right here. We'll read it live on air. And same thing with the app messages. Again, everything's still the same. We're just adding a little bit, change the show time, 11 to 1 instead of 12 to 2. And now we got our YouTube presence again. So now we're having fun and rock and rolling. Looks like we got the tech fixed over here. And so we're going to keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
.365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow trucks, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadways.
We're making improvements and helping our
via
community
radio, but
stay
obviously
connected.
we're also
We're working
live
hard
here.
to make sure you're safe on
And
the road. Now we need your help.
if you guys have been around, if you guys have been subscribed, you guys already know the deal. We just haven't been on here in a while, but we're glad to be back. New start time 11 to 1, and I am going to try to do this
Visit
every day again, like we were
DriveSafeAlabama.org,
doing.
brought to you by
Try to
the
go
Alabama
live
Department of Transportation,
simultaneously
Alabama
as we do,
Broadcasters Association, and this
the radio
From our home base
right?
in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here.
Right now. We're doing the radio show, so. But yeah, man, don't be afraid to drop a comment. Like I said, if you guys got any comments, I can answer them right here during commercial breaks, or obviously when we're live on air. I'd love to read those live on air, man. I think we're getting some calls lined up, so I'm going to go to those when we come back. Let's see. I think we got a call. Hit when we come back. We'll go from there. And also make sure you guys check us out on X, Instagram, that stuff, at the Miller's Edge too. You guys can stay up to date with everything. Wish I could see who we got on here. I know we have a lot of frequents on here. I wonder if there's still some same people, some new people. But again, if you're new, welcome in. Glad you guys are here. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that like button. Definitely will help us out.
In your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account, and only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report VA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
We all know Tuscaloosa and West Alabama temperatures can make life miserable. That old and unreliable AC unit is not going to make it any better. It's time to get comfortable with a Better Service Company, your authorized train dealer for West Alabama, specializing in AC and heating solutions to fit your budget. A Better Service Company offers prompt, reliable service. Want to upgrade to a new system or just need a tune-up? Call a Better Service Company at 205-366-9377 or online at abetterserviceco.com. AL cert number 09149. It's hard to stop a train.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Again, feel free, guys. During the show, whenever you guys can drop a comment, and we'll read it live on air and do all that good stuff. And you guys see the number 205-342-9904. We're talking about something that you want to call in, man. Feel free. Love taking calls.
About the ABC 30-20 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 72 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Jeremy, long time no see, man.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
Okay, Crystal from Lexington. Okay, I got you. Yeah, it does still feel like morning. You're right. Not quite yet. Not football season yet. I hope so. Hope soon they'll be here. All right, here we go. And welcome back into this Monday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTVC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Try before you buy, nothing to lose. Make sure you guys check them out. Again, premium arch supports designed to eliminate and alleviate all types of pain. Locations all around the country. I see we got some folks from South Carolina here on our YouTube chat. Shout out to South Kakalaki. They got a Good Feet store up there you can check out here. It's in Midtown Village. But again, goodfeet.com. Schedule an appointment to find the nearest location to you or get more information. And that is the Good Feet store. Improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. We got Crystal. We got Jeremy. Shout out to everybody, man. Seeing some familiar faces from when we used to go live. So glad to have everybody back in here. Chase, I think we've got a caller. We can go ahead and take him. We got plenty of time to hit the top of the phone lines. 205-342-9904 is the number. I like your name, man. Christian. We got Christian on the phone lines. Welcome in.
It is a good name indeed, Christian Miller. Love the show, buddy, and I loved watching you play for Nick Saban and everything. I think you did a really fantastic job. Ultimately, I got to ask you, I got a couple things for you today, but before we get into this year, what was your most memorable play of your career at Alabama?
Man, great question. Thanks for calling. I would say my most memorable play would be in the national championship game in 2017/2018, I guess. But it was when we were playing Georgia. And that year I had tore my biceps against Florida State in the opener. And I missed like 10 games. I was able to come back for the Auburn game. Obviously, we unfortunately lost that on the road, but we were able to sneak in the playoffs. And we played Clemson, beat up on those guys. But we made it to the national championship game, and me and Terrell came back from injury. Then Anthony Jennings gets hurt, and he has to miss the championship game. And so, we go out there and felt like we were playing for him because he held it down for us while we were hurt, and we felt like we had to finish the job for him. And in that game, I was able to, come up with a big sack a little early on in the game, and just to be able to make a big play like that in a national championship game with so much on the line after being a team that had gone through so much adversity, that just was a phenomenal moment. Now, so for me personally, I would probably pick that play. But in terms of like, I guess, favorite play in general, I probably would say 2nd and 26, because that arguably is probably the craziest play I think I've ever witnessed and been a part of.
Heck yeah, man. I'm surprised you didn't go back to that year after 2nd and 26, because I remember watching that Orange Bowl semifinal against Oklahoma. You got your hands on the Heisman Trophy winner on like a 3rd and 11 in the first quarter. Yes, I remember that game.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember that. Trust me. I know. I mean, it's tough when you have, a lot of great moments, man. No, but that was a fun play, and I remember it vividly. I don't remember exactly the name, but I was on what we call a lion path, where I'm just flying off the edge because we got somebody shooting the B gap. And I just remember, I just like, man, I'm just going to just fly off the ball and beat the dude with the chop, dip, and rip. And man, I swallowed Kyler Murray up, and that was a fun game. It until obviously I tore my hamstring, but man, yeah, it was fun getting after him.
Yeah. And let's get to this year, man. Again, love the show and everything. Loved watching you. When you look at this year, you look at some standout players, a couple interesting guys that come back on defense, Deontay Lawson and company. But, you know, I look at it. One guy that stood out to me when we recruited him was Sterling Dixon. Do you think he could be a player that steps up for us and be an impact guy in 2025? Because I've heard good things about him. I've watched him on film. He's fast. He's electrifying to watch. Loves to get after the quarterback at linebacker there. What do you think about him?
That's a good question, man. I think he's a really good football player. I think he's just trying to find his footing. I think just like for a lot of young guys, they're just still trying to make that adjustment, that transition. It's not easy. I mean, you look at a number of players, even the guys that came out of high school being, you know, top of their position. Sometimes it takes time. Hell, I was one of those guys. I was like the number 2 outside linebacker in the country. Took me a few years to kind of get going, right? I had to develop physically for sure. I was just really light. But I think with him, it's a little bit similar, maybe, you know, physically still developing, but also I think he's just kind of getting used to the transition of college football. But then you also look at the depth that this team has right now. You know, with Deontay Lawson and Justin Jefferson coming back, you know, and then adding another, you know, veteran linebacker in Hill Green, probably at that middle linebacker spot. I mean, it might be tough. I think he could kind of carve out a role, you know, definitely special teams for sure, but maybe as a, you know, quality backup. And then you look at, you know, an edge presence, like you mentioned, he's got experience there for sure. You could argue maybe he could, you know, compete and earn a spot in that edge room, coming off the ball, trying to add some pass rush presence. But we'll have to see. I think, to me, I think he's still probably a year out from really contributing in the way that, you know, we might hope, you know, and then what we expected when he was coming out of high school. I just think you still got a number of guys in front of him, and I think he also still is developing himself. So personally, I would probably give him one more year until he probably gets to that point.
Awesome, man. And like I said, man, love the show. Loved watching you in Alabama and everything. I think y'all do a great job on here. And again, my name's Christian Ballard. And is it okay if I shout something out for myself real quick?
Yeah, man. Feel as long as it's PG.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. I'm working towards journalism myself. I got autism and everything, and but I'm working towards it. 23 years old here in Alabama in Coleman, and I got myself a YouTube channel. If you guys want to check it out, Ballard Sports Media in the chat, so I'm doing all that. Christian, we got to get you on the show sometime for real, man. I'll hit you up on Twitter or something.
Yeah, man, please send us a message on Twitter. We got the @the_Miller's Edge page, man. If you send it there, I'll definitely be on the lookout for it. But yeah, I see you in the comment section here on YouTube. I put it on the screen, that way everybody can check you out, man. Ballard Sports Media, man. I appreciate you calling. Great name, and
Yep.
Glad to have you on here. Feel free to call in too, man. Anytime you want, man. You're welcome on here.
Awesome. Thank you for another Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide. Good deal. There we go. We're marrying the two. We got some folks from YouTube calling in. Good deal. Shout out to Christian with Ballard Sports Media, man. Check out his page. All right, we got to hit this top of the hour. It is now noon. This feels so weird, Chase. Normally we're starting our show. Now we're hitting the top of the hour with the first hour. So we're going to take a quick time out. We come back. We keep on rolling. Again, we got people coming in the chat over on YouTube. I'm going to check these out during this break. See what we got there. Again, you guys can always drop those app messages as well on the Tide 100.9 app. We'll read those live. And you can also call in like Christian just did, 205-342-9904. We're talking this mock draft. We can talk Bama. We can talk a number of things. Plus, at some point, we'll probably hear from former Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe, get his thoughts on his rookie minicamp that concluded this past weekend. So we're just getting started, but we're rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Quick timeout. Be right back. All right, guys, let's see what we got here in this comment section. We got Jeremy and Crystal going back and forth. It looks, let's see. Jeremy, you think the SC game would be tougher than the Georgia game? I actually think I agree with you on that, man. funny enough, if you listen to Kirby, and according to some of the people over there, man, I think they're a little unsure about their team right now, which is normal for any coach during the spring. A lot of coaches say that during the spring, but I actually believe that they do feel a little. I would say maybe there's a lack of confidence right now with what they've got. But I feel like it's kind of been trending that way with Georgia, right? I feel like they've kind of had some cracks start showing up, and especially when you start trying to fight off complacency, man, sometimes it just starts creeping up on you. So we'll see if they can kind of clean that up. But I agree, man. That South Carolina Bama game is going to be great. On the road at Williams-Brice, not far from where I grew up. I think it'll be a good one. They have improved since last season. It could be quite a handful for our guys. Yeah. I think it's going to be a good one. Mike, what's going on? Roll Tide. Crystal says, I'm a true Bama fan, but love Sellers. Young man's developed amazingly. Can't wait to watch him. Yeah, no, I agree, Crystal. He's gotten a lot better. He just keeps getting better and better. I mean, I think he's got all the potential. I mean, you look at his size, his stature. He's a tough dude, hard to bring down when he runs a football, man. I mean, he's tough. Sit in the pocket, make throws. If he gets a little more consistent, man, I guy's job to lose. I was thinking that before we even started the spring, and I don't see it being any different, honestly. Especially coming out of the spring. I mean, I feel firm that, Ty's job to lose. Hell, we even heard from Coach Grubb saying if they were to take the field tomorrow, it would be Ty, which doesn't shock me. You're talking about a guy that's been in the system. He's been there. Developing, good quarterback. He's gotten better and better. I definitely think that he definitely is going to be his job to lose. In terms of behind him, I would probably say, I would probably go with Keelan Russell. Here we go. We'll come back on there, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us, man. Love to be back on here again. Drop us a like if you don't mind. Subscribe if you haven't already. And tell everybody about it. Share it with your friends. We're going to start doing this more often. Every day, hopefully, right? We do the radio show every day, by the way, 11 to 1. But we're hoping to bring it back here every day. All right, here we go. And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. We're rocking and rolling. Hour number 2 already underway. Hour number 1 was fun, man. It's cool. I got the YouTube back rolling. If you guys are here over on our YouTube channel, shout out to you guys. If you guys are listening via radio, via the app. However, appreciate all you guys. Again, new start time, 11 to 1, but everything else is the same. Just also added the YouTube back. And we're having fun, man. We're rocking and rolling. We got the comment section going. It's cool talking with you guys here. Having folks calling over from YouTube. 205-342-9904 is the number. So we love it, man. We're looking forward to growing and, again, start of a new week, new time. So we figure we're going ahead and get back rolling with all the other fun stuff that we have in our bag. So that being said, hour number 1, we really were talking about this 2026 mock draft that had come out from Todd McShay. Again, very reputable guy when it comes to draft analysis, all that good stuff. Had 4 guys from Alabama going in the first round. The biggest surprise really to me was Jeremy Bernard being the first guy taken from Alabama at 12 overall, joining up with his former quarterback, Jalen Milrose, who we'll probably hear from here in a second, get his press conference plan in a little bit. But that was also followed up by Deontay Lawson, Damani Jackson, and then Caden Proctor, all being mocked in that first round. So that's really what we've been talking about majority of the show. During the break, we were answering some questions over on YouTube as well about the quarterback competition. And looking at a comment here now, Mike saying that he thinks Bernard is a stud and underutilized, or he was underutilized last season. I agree. I think he is a really good player. I was saying earlier, I mean, I saw him, I think it was the second to last scrimmage, but Ryan Williams didn't participate in that scrimmage. He sat out, was a little banged up. And, I mean, Bernard looked like, I mean, he was taking over. Now, don't get me wrong, Horton stood out a lot too, the transfer from Miami, but Bernard probably had not a handful, that's probably too many, but I count at least maybe 2-3 touchdowns, but it wasn't even just the touchdowns. I mean, it was route running. I mean, solid, catches in traffic, contested catch. I mean, he looked to be, with Ryan Williams out, I mean, if you needed somebody to step up and be that wide receiver one, he clearly is capable of it. And to me, that was a really good sign, because now I'm like, all right, well, you got a guy with that caliber on the other side of Ryan Williams, and you bring in Horton. I'm really excited about this wide receiver room, which I think is going to be a huge upgrade from last year. Huge upgrade. And I know you're like, well, you had Jeremy, you had Ryan last year, but you had Ryan at 17. You had Jeremy first year coming from Washington. Now both those guys have a year under their belt in this conference, on this football team, in this system here. Man, and then you add on Horton and some of the younger guys like Rico Scott, who I'm really high on. I think he's going to be great. Not to mention, we were worried about who might leave via the transfer portal. I honestly thought we were going to at least have one wide receiver leave in the transfer portal, given we had so much depth. Well, guess what, guys? I mean, we didn't have a single scholarship player at any position leave via the transfer portal. So what does that mean? Well, Chase, and guys, if you hear me say Chase is our producer, by the way, if you guys are checking us out on YouTube and you're new, but Chase is our producer. He runs the ship. But Chase, that literally means that all those guys that we had been bragging about, right, between the, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, right, Isaiah Horton, your top three guys, in my opinion. Then you go down to the next tier of guys, right, the Rico Scotts, right, the Jalen Hale, who was set to be wide receiver one before that injury, right? Cole Adams, very productive, very reliable option at wide receiver last season. Not to mention a guy like, forgetting the kid's name, that flipped over from defense. Help me out, Chase. Wide receiver does a show with Ryan. I'm drawing a blank. Or chat, you guys tell me. You guys know who I'm talking about. I don't know why I just slipped his name. Anyway, look, we've got a deep wide receiver room. Nobody transferred, and that's really good news, right? And I was kind of shocked, I'll be honest with you. I swore that we probably would have at least one guy out of that room transfer, but we didn't. So really looking forward to that. So this year, and I was talking about this last week or maybe the week before, looking at this team post-spring, I think they're in really good shape, man. I think they're in really good shape. I mean, the question marks for this year, because every year you're going to have question marks, right? Every year there's going to be questions about position groups or personnel, whatever it may be. It was Mbakwe, by the way. Thank you, Chase. Chase dropped it on our thread right here. I don't know why I couldn't think of the dude's name. Jalen Mbakwe. You add him to that wide receiver room as well. Not even a guy like Derek Meadows and the other young freshman, Chase. I literally Latia Brooks. Talk about some juice. That dude's probably going to be in contention for, I guess, maybe, most impact freshman potentially, maybe. Thanks, Mike. Mike dropped it on here as well, too. Thank you, guys. That's why it's great having a live chat, man. It's awesome. But yeah, so looking at the question marks this year, I mean, obviously people look at quarterback. You got a new quarterback. But again, I feel solid with Ty as long as that protection's solid. From what I've seen out of Ty, man, he's taking a lot of steps. And I think he's going to do a really nice job. I mean, he's got the weapons to do it. He's got the running back room that should provide him a decent running game given the offensive line. And we talk about it time and time again, but it's true. The offensive line to me is going to be the key. But we did listen to Kalen DeBoer talk with Josh Pate last week. And surprisingly enough, remember, Chase, he actually was pretty confident in the offensive line. Matter of fact, he seemed like he was really pleased with what they displayed this spring, which that gave me a lot of confidence because before we even heard that interview, I was saying already, man, I need the offensive line to take that next step. And from what I saw, I mean, they definitely showed flashes for sure. But I still am thinking, I'm like, all right, man, I need somebody to really be that guy at right tackle, right? I feel like you got, a couple guys competing right now. Obviously, Will Conformi is probably, the guy in the lead, but there, and then, left guard, you're replacing a guy like Tyler Booker. It's hard to replace a guy like him. We heard Caitlin DeBoer talk to Josh Pate about him as well. Talk about that leadership and that energy, that infectious energy that he brought. You bring in a guy from A&M who transferred to, I think he's definitely going to, be an option at left guard. Plus, you always got Vandermark who played last year. Right guard, Jaden Roberts, center, Caden Proctor, at tackle, Brailsford at center. But yeah, so I think they should be good. They have to take that next step. So that being said, Chase, I think, let me see. Ricky had dropped us something on Twitter. I think I missed it. Shout out to Ricky, by the way. Ricky says, as long as we clean up those drop passes, either guy can be wide receiver 1 and Jeremy can go first round. It's interesting, man. I mean, I'm listening. I'm not saying he can go first round. I just was shocked to see him at 12th overall because, again, looking at this list, 12th overall had him right behind Nick Harbor from South Carolina, being the number 2 wide receiver taken off the board. Like I said, I need to just go look like off the top of my head about thinking about returning wide receivers in college football, man. I really just need to look it up, but I don't know. I mean, Chase, like if someone said, all right, man, they're making a bet with you, right? Big money bet. You got to bet whether Bernard is going to be a first round pick or not. What are you saying? What's the over under? Yes or no?
Most definitely. I think he'd be a first rounder.
Really? You said that really confidently, Chase.
Yeah, I believe so, Christian. You kind of look at what he did at Washington, right? I think I get kind of strapped under the rug for some reason. I don't know why, but he helped a lot of what Washington did, especially when they had Michael Penix Jr. and all the dynamic play.
Mm-hmm.
Leans up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I'm not going to say he can't. I'm just very careful about throwing out like, oh, the first round, this, because look, number one, I've been through the process, so I know how difficult it is. Number two, just like we saw this past year, right? There can be a number of guys that, people expect them to go here and they end up not even going there, right? And there's some guys that they have third round pick, and they get selected in the first round. There's so many variables. Looking at him and his skill set, I think he definitely can be a first round receiver. And we know that receivers are taken in the first round. This past year, let's see how many receivers are taken in the first round. I was looking up the top returning receivers. I will say one thing that does help him out and some of these other receivers is the fact that the top 2 receivers in college football are not draft eligible. We're just being honest here, right? Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, those guys are only going to be sophomores. So that being said, literally the top 2 guys in college football at the position, they're not draft eligible. If they were draft eligible, I mean, I'd probably I don't know. But the fact that they aren't, it kind of opens up a spot for a guy like Bernard or some of these other guys. Looking at this here. So you had Travis Hunter, wide receiver / cornerback, but we'll throw him on the list, right? He won the Blitnikoff. So that's one receiver there. Tedatoria McMillan, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. He went to my Carolina Panthers, though, from Arizona. Second wide receiver taken. And again, those 2 guys were the top 2 receivers up for the Blitnikoff Award, if I'm not mistaken. So that already goes to show you, I mean, if they've got Jeremy being the second receiver taken, that means he probably needs to be putting up that type of production, right? Buccaneers go with the Mecca Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Matthew Golden, 4. And so 4 receivers went in the first round this past year in the NFL draft. 12th overall, Chase, I think it's a little high. And again, I get it. But I'm just telling you guys, I know how this works, man. We're talking about other positions being taken, and like to be picked that high, you have to be just even like Jahad Campbell. I mean, people thought he would have been picked higher. He ended up going 31st overall. Granted, he was coming off a shoulder procedure, but still, it goes to show you guys, man, like it's tough to be taken. But let's look at this top list of returning receivers real quick, Chase. Number 1, you got Jeremiah Smith, and this is according to PFF. Jeremiah Smith out of Ohio State, true freshman last year, by the way. Highest rated recruit from the 2024 class and highest rated wide receiver in Ohio State history. He definitely was living up to the expectations. Dude is a dog, right? And if I'm going to be honest with you, I know there's a debate, him, Ryan Williams. I'm not going to lie to you. Right now, if I had to pick, I'm starting a team, I had to pick one, I probably would lean towards him, just personally. I love Ryan Williams, but you talk about the size, the speed. He's an athletic freak, man, 6'3", 215 pounds. Dude is insane. Now, the difference is, though, here that you do need to consider when you do this comparison. I know I'm all over the place, but it's kind of interesting. He is older. He turned 19 in November, right? So he's like a year or two older than Ryan Williams. So you got to take that into consideration. But I'm really excited to see those guys. To me, I think they're going to be going neck and neck for the Biletnikoff this year. Ryan Williams, number 2, returning wide receiver in college football. 3, you got Jordan Tyson, had over 1,000 yards as a redshirt sophomore, so he's draft eligible. So I guess that's somebody to maybe take a look at. Elijah Surratt, Indiana. They've got him at number 4. Let's see, Eric Singleton from Auburn. It looks like I think he transferred from Georgia Tech, I believe. Cam Coleman, Auburn. I'll be honest, Chase, looking at this list, number 1, I don't even see Jeremy Bernard on this list. So they clearly think he's going to have a big year this upcoming year. But number 2, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know. Like I mentioned, the top 2 guys aren't draft eligible. I really just feel like the wide receiver class for this upcoming year might not really be very strong. Could be wrong. Could be totally wrong. But from what I'm just going off of right here and just even off the top of my head, I don't know how I feel about it. It looks a little weak. So that definitely probably could help a guy out like Bernard if he has a great year. See his name called in that first round. Let's go ahead and take this time out, Chase. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling again. 205-342-9904 is the number one to get y'all's thoughts and everything. We still got to talk about Jalen Milroe completing his rookie minicamp. Those threads look nice, Chase. Those uniforms, man, they look smooth, man. Him, Robbie Oots, man, they got to work this past weekend. We'll hear from him, get his thoughts on how things went with him. And we're going to discuss something that he did say in there. We're going to listen to the whole thing, right? Want to get everything. But he mentioned about the technology that they are encouraging him to use to improve, his reads, his progressions, processing things quicker, right? And a lot of people were kind of shocked about that allegedly Alabama didn't necessarily have that, but I'm going to talk about that as well. But first, we're going to hear from him when we come back. We'll play that interview for you guys, and we'll respond to it. All that coming up right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
Don't buy your new or pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from anywhere.
What do y'all guys think? Mike, sounds like you're high on Bernard, so I'd imagine that you probably feel like he has a chance going there. I mean, he had a good year last year. I mean, I think he had around 800 yards. Last year, he had 794 for 2 touchdowns.
Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients of every generation across the United States and from around the world. We're here for the rookies.
Talent-wise, again,
trying to make a name for themselves. We're here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches.
I think it's two things, like you said, definitely NFL needs for sure.
We are here for you.
We'd love to see them have really good production. Obviously, about wide receiver. They want to see production.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
The all-new Chow's Country Buffet is open now on 1100 Skyland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa.
Really well.
Southern classics with an
Which
Asian
I think
twist.
he will. I mean, I think he's
Fried chicken, fried catfish, seafood boil, roast beef, brisket, orange chicken, and over 150 additional items. Chow's Country Buffet will be open for lunch and dinner at 1100 Skyland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa. Or check out the website.
Guys, if you got any questions,
Call
you guys want us to read on air or discuss, man,
the all-new Chow's Country Buffet, Skyland Boulevard. Join us for a meal to remember.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Tide 100.9 for radio show. So that's where we're at right now. So obviously, we're here live with you guys, but we're going to start doing this live as well. If you guys like the visual,
For Wednesday, cloudy with occasional rain.
plus we can always talk with you guys here in the chat, and you can always get on the conversation.
ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 71 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Monday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Presented by the Good Feet Store, America's art sport experts. But don't forget about our friends over at R&R Cigars. If you guys are in the market for some premium cigars, you guys know where to find them. R&R Cigars right here in Tuscaloosa, 2703 6th Street is where you can find them downtown. Again, the best humidor in the Southeast. You can't beat it. They've got the mansion. It's the big white mansion, the wraparound porch. You can go hang out, watch your favorite sporting events. There's a big boxing event this past weekend. And let's just say it was a little underwhelming. But if you're into that stuff, man, into watching baseball, they always are playing those things, man. So you can go have a nice steak. They've got over 160 bourbons to choose from as well. Drink responsibly. But just know they are the place to go hang out and watch sports, enjoy a nice steak. The weather's getting great, man. So go check them out again, downtown Tuscaloosa. But if you're not local, you can always take advantage of those great deals. rnrcigars.com, free shipping on them. You can do the bundles, pair all the cigars up as well. So check them out on their website. If you're not local, rnrcigars.com. If you are, go check them out. Best humidor in the Southeast. Best place to go watch your favorite sport events. Again, that is R&R Cigars, the official cigar provider of Alabama football since 2014. All right, Chase, let's go ahead and go hear from our guy, former Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe again. Finished up his rookie minicamp this past weekend. Let's hear what he had to say. And plus, we'll discuss everything about the virtual reality training here in a second.
Great feeling. When I walked on the field, I really just acknowledged where I was at. My parents made a joke. It's like the first day of class today. And we took my bunch of pictures after practice. But no, it's definitely cool to be an NFL quarterback, to get my feet wet, get acclimated with everything. And so it definitely a dream come true for sure.
Jalen, the Senior Bowl was a ways away, and then the combine after that. You've obviously been working with Jordan Palmer. Was there stuff that you were working on during the Senior Bowl and your throwing motion that maybe you're further along with now than you were then?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing is everything works from the ground up at a quarterback position. Understanding the lower half mechanics of how I operate. Every quarterback is different, and so doing a deep understanding of how my body functions at the quarterback position with throwing a ball. And so understanding how to distribute my body when it comes to the lower half mechanics and things like that. And it's been a focus for us. And so with that, it's all about being an efficient passer. And so the more you work, the more you understand your body, you're going to be more of an efficient passer. So, that's something that we work on and continue to work on so I can be the best quarterback I can be.
What's it like as a quarterback trying? Everybody out there on the field was learning everything the first day today. Like, that's pretty unusual. And even college, like, somebody knows what's going on. Like, to try to put all that on your plate and leave that and kind of know as much as you can about what's going on. What's that challenge like for you?
You got to be smart. You got to be smart at the quarterback position. You got to prepare. You got to emphasize how much you love football and how much you care. Because you care, it's gonna wear off on other guys. Because your presence in when you communicate with the guys around, we communicate a play call. Also understanding the operation, understanding the schemes, maneuvers. Because we're playing in the NFL now. You got to play on time. You got to understand your assignment, and so it's so important. And so having that opportunity today and seeing that, I think that was something that was definitely evident when it comes to performing today.
Did you wear a wristband in college?
I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Jay Daniels last year talked about how he started using a virtual reality headset and doing it at a faster speed to help work on progressions and timing. That's something you've talked about maybe working on. Have you used any of that technology or tried it out?
So it's funny you just mentioned that because me and my new head coach, we talked about doing that, and so from now to game one, I'm going to utilize that.
How long have you been training with Jordan Palmer, and where does that happen at?
A year and a half, and it happens in San Clemente, California.
I know it's really early, but are there similarities between what the Seahawks are going to ask you to do and what Alabama in terms of the offense and the scheme and things like that?
Yeah, so like I had 3 different coordinators while I was at school at Alabama. With that, we saw football in different lenses with each coordinator. But of course, you have different terminology, you have different formation adjustments. And so seeing now in the lenses of Coach Kubiak and seeing how he calls plays and how your timing, all those things are maybe different. But system as a whole, everything, correlates for sure. But, it's the details and understanding that, all of us as a group, as a team, the quarterback room, all should be flowing together.
And going back to just your presence, how do you balance the patience for your teammates to understand the play and yet the urgency to execute the play?
I think that's a really good question. Really good question. Because I think that's so important because we should all flow in the same accordion on offense. And one thing that's evident on offense is unique because, we need all 11 guys to click. If 10 guys do the right assignment, but one guy does not, we all fail as a group. And so I think it's so important at the quarterback position that we emphasize everyone's responsibility, be assertive and understand, pushing the tempo, pushing everyone's assignment, and also understand it takes all of us. And so I understand that when it comes to me performing at my best is understanding that we need the whole group and it takes all of us, 11 on offense.
Jalen, 11-man draft class 9 on the offensive side of the ball. There's a chance that as a group you guys can grow together here. What does that kind of opportunity present to you guys?
It's so exciting, especially having practice today. Like, we had some talent on offense, and it showed today. Like, we had really, really good dudes in each room, a lot of talent, a lot of guys that love football, that care. Just it's funny, seeing how much everybody loves football, communicating before we even had practice, doing walkthrough, doing install, preaching the reads, what's my footwork, talking to those different guys because they care. They want to know how they can be their best at their particular position. And so, it's definitely cool, just to see the amount of talent we have in our draft class.
What was it like growing up with 2 military parents?
Yeah, so having 2 military parents, you definitely emphasize determination, grit, goals, short-term goals, long-term goals, and understanding that it takes a team, and I don't believe in the word self-made at all. It takes a team to accomplish anything that you want to accomplish. And so, my team was here today at practice. They definitely emphasize, love. And so they were here today, but I think that's something that I'll take with them being in the military.
Do you have a goal for what you want this season? I mean, just get on the field in any way or?
Yeah, my goal, honestly, is to come in and be the best version of myself, be better than I was the day before, and earn the trust and respect of everyone in the organization. Everyone from the top down, earn the trust and respect. With that, it comes other things, but that's number one. Any guy that comes in, no matter where you're selected in the draft, the first pick in the draft to the very end of the draft, you're Mr. Irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You're trying to earn the respect and trust everybody in the locker room in the organization. And so with that, it comes with being a good teammate as well. And being a good teammate to Sam Darnold, Drew Lock, everyone in the room, the coaches, showing that I care, I'm studying. So, other goals come with that, but the niche of everything is that.
Any significance to the number choice?
I didn't select the number. I know there's vets on the team. I'm going to pay respect to them. They've been here before me. And so when the time comes, I will select the number. But right now, I ain't going to choose a number.
Jalen, you mentioned the trust aspect. Obviously, that's critical playing the quarterback position. But you've only been here a few days. How much easier is it to develop trust, though, in the players that you have around you when you have receivers that also have played special teams and clearly love the game, offensive linemen that have pretty much played every position that are in front of you? How much easier is it to develop that trust when you have all these guys that you know love the game and they are just willing to do whatever it takes to help their team?
So one thing that's key before we touch the field, we have a bunch of walkthroughs. We have walkthroughs, we have schedules where we're all aligned, So with that, you have communication. You're more effective as a group. And so with that, it comes with the timing, of course, in the passing game and the running game, understanding the mic point, where we're going as a whole group. And so it's communication. Communication, the biggest thing when it comes to offense. And so I think at the core position, it starts number one there, emphasizing that we're all on the same accordion. And it takes practice reps. But for practice one, that was a really good day. Like when it comes to timing, everyone flowing, the tempo that we played with, everyone caring, appreciating. When you make a good play, everybody's celebrating and congratulating that person. No one was selfish in that sense. Everyone was caring about each other because, you know, we're trying to reach the same goal. No matter where you're at on the depth chart, we're trying to all be successful. So I think that was something that I saw that I'm really happy about because we have a lot of good dudes that was on the football field today.
So did the Seahawks really tell you were the best quarterback of the draft? Or?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
How long after you got drafted did you get a chance to get the playbook?
It's funny. So as soon as I celebrated, the next day I got the playbook. So it was quick turnaround for sure. You know, definitely now this is my job. You know, now I know where I'm going to be. It's a long process for sure. So now I know where I'm at now. But yeah, it was a quick turnaround.
What was studying since then?
Been studying.
What's your early impressions of the scheme?
So my early impressions is you gotta prepare. You gotta study. You gotta know like the back of your hand, and you gotta study. You gotta get extra time in with the coaches. And one thing that's for certain, the meeting time is not enough for grasping the offense. You gotta take extra time aside when you're not around the coaches, whether you're with your teammates, whether you're at home. Always time to grow and learn the system, because when you know the system, when you have great preparation, you play even better, and it wears off on the other guys at the quarterback position.
How much do you see playing at Alabama already paying off with this process? And being in a program that consistently kicks out a lot of NFL players, there's the expectation that we're going to be a pro program. Right. How are you seeing that already playing out here, coming to the league and maybe making the acclimation process a little easier?
For sure. Like, number one, like the center of excellence, no matter what we're doing, no matter if it's a walkthrough, everybody's getting a rep. Like, whether you're on the field or you're off the field, you're getting a rep. You know, something that was emphasized while at school, I never forget, was at spring practice, and one of our coaches called the whole group up. He called one of our players on the team. He's like, "Hey, how many reps did you get?" So of course he sat there, scratched his head, trying to think how many reps he got. He said, "I'm gonna stop you right there. You got all of them. If you did it right, you got a mental rep and a physical rep." And so I think that's important for all of us. You know, as we're trying to achieve success and achieve greatness and whatever we want to do on the field, I think that's important.
What was it like throwing to Elijah Arroyo today?
Big target. I threw him some nice balls today, and he wanted to go get that ball, and I was happy. But nah, he's a dude. You know, it's fun. It's so funny. You know how this process is. You know, we all don't know where we're going during the process, but me and him went on a couple of visits together. We communicated. You know, we just talked about how great it would be if we were teammates. And I remember getting a text from him saying, "Man, we're gonna be teammates." So it was definitely exciting. And now to get back on the field with him, it's been really cool.
You were an academic Heisman, and I asked Robbie Utes about, like, how did you do that and an athlete? What are you going to spend all that time you were doing in class? Where's that time going to be dedicated now?
Take care of my body. Biggest thing is when you take care of your body, you're available on the football field. So the time frame that I'm not preparing mentally with the playbook, with the guys in the room, different rooms, is taking care of my body. Taking care of my body so that I can be available for the coaches and my teammates. So I think replacing that schoolwork is going to be more about taking care of my body and also watching film and being in my playbook.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here
treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world.
We're here for the rookies and the
Good
dreamers.
deal. Just heard
trying
from
to
our
make a
guy
name for
Milrow.
themselves. We're here for the achievers.
Who are resilient.
And won't take no for an answer.
And if you guys just
We're
joined
here
us
for
in,
the
man, drop a
coaches,
like.
athletic
Yeah.
trainers, and mentors.
Subscribe if you haven't
who are
already.
shaping
We're going
the
to start
next
doing this
generation
daily
of
again.
legends. We are here for you.
And we are live
Aggressively
11:01
pursuing
victory
out of
over
100.9.
injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
Hey, Bama fans, this is quarterback Jalen Milroe for my friends at Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. Before you shop anywhere else for a Dodge Ram truck, a Jeep, a Dodge Challenger, or a Dodge Charger, shop local. An amazing selection of new and pre-owned vehicles are on the lot now. Go see for yourself at 550 Skyland Boulevard East in Tuscaloosa, or you can shop online at TuscaloosaCDJR.com. At Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, you pick it out and we'll work it out.
Bruce
Roll
says, go get him real much
Remember the
deserved.
1970s? A lot has
He's
changed,
gonna be
but
solid.
one
I
thing
think
has
he's gonna
not
be all right.
changed. Washington's
He doubled down
regulations on
that
local
take, though,
stations.
about,
Regulations that make it tough for local TV and radio stations to compete with global big tech platforms. If you want to keep local news and live sports on TV and radio, we need updated regulations.
Man, when I was
Tell
getting,
Washington to modernize the rules to help local stations compete. Learn more at nab.org/modernize the rules. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here is my Discover card.
They accept
Realized
Discover at
earlier we had
Renaissance
some tech
fairs.
problems. I'm
They
figuring it
do
out now.
here.
He does that, it's
Discover's
refresh
accepted at the
from
places
our
I love to
tag radio
shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times,
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Monday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTVC. Hope everybody is doing well. Shout out to everybody we got over on our YouTube channel. Again, we are back to streaming live on YouTube at the Miller's Edge. If you guys want to watch us do the show, right, you can always do that. Obviously, we know you guys love listening via Tide 100.9. Still do that if that's your method of tuning in, checking us out. But if you guys want a visual, you can always check us out on our YouTube as well, where we are streaming live, hanging out with you guys over here. We just got done listening to Jalen Milroe. That was his press conference coming off the football field. One of their practices this past weekend. They had their rookie mini camp, man. He looks good in that 6, Chase. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to ask you, man, what do you think about that 6 on Milroe? It kind of gives like LeBron vibes a little bit, doesn't it?
You spoken to existence, man. I was thinking about Miami, LeBron.
Yeah.
Man, that was a special time with LeBron. But yeah, start something fresh. You know, he's known for 4. Mark something new in Seattle of all places, right? So go for it, Jalen.
Yeah, man. It's smooth. Now, it was interesting, though. He said he didn't choose it. You know, he respects the vet. So, and the way it works in the NFL, I don't know if you guys know this, but you don't have to officially choose your number. And this goes for anybody. It doesn't have to be a rookie, but numbers are officially set like after preseason, right? Because what happens is obviously the roster gets cut down a lot. Right, you go from like 90 to whatever. At least they were doing that. They were going in stages. They used to just go from 90 to 53. But anyway, when the roster cuts happen, then you have to lock in your real number, right? So like, because there might be a guy that's wearing the number you want right now, but he might not be on the team. You get what I'm saying? So he's rocking 6 right now. I don't mind 6 on him. I think it's smooth. But we'll know official numbers. You know, after like right before the beginning of the regular season. So if you guys are interested in purchasing a jersey for any of these guys, you can go ahead and do that now. And I think they might have a policy where if there is a number change, maybe they let you swap it, Chase. I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% on that, but I think they do something along the lines. That being said, though, it was good hearing from him. He sounded confident, man. Looking forward to seeing him work. I can't wait for the preseason, man. It's going to be cool to see him go out there and do his thing. Obviously, you know, he's drafted to a team where they've just signed my former teammate, Sam Darnold. I don't expect him being the guy this year, but we'll at least get to see him in the preseason. Might be our last time seeing him really work for quite some time. Now, they did hint at maybe having some packages for him, but you guys get my drift. I think preseason would be fun to watch a guy like Milroe. So I'm really looking forward to see what he can go out there and do. I know you guys are excited too. Bruce says, go get a Milroe, much deserved. Roll Tide, roll. One thing I wanted to hit before we hit this app message, Chase, was that he mentioned the VR. And I know a lot of people were asking about that on social media. I can tell you guys that were wondering. In the past, we had that VR technology. When I was playing, I make it seem like it's been forever. It hadn't been that long, but still, this was back in 2016. I remember us having virtual reality technology but it was a little bit different, right? We had it in the athletic training room, and we were using it as a form of rehab. So what we would do would be, because I remember when they got it, because this is when VR really started coming out. Chase, I don't know if you remember when VR, like with PlayStation stuff, came out like 8 years ago, whenever it was, but like you play games and stuff. So what we had was in the training room, anybody could go do it. We had a big TV on the wall, and they set you up, they give you the headset. But the way we used it for athletic training purposes was, if you were doing rehab, we would combine the VR with like a medicine ball, which I know sounds kind of dangerous, but they'd have somebody guiding you. And so like you would do balance while playing the game or doing something with the VR headset to work on your, like your ankle, right? So you're dealing with an ankle injury. All those little muscles in your ankle that you need to, rehab with balancing, stuff like that. It was a fun form of doing it with the VR headset. And so there was like little things like that. I think they did have like a little football game on there. You could like throw the ball. But again, this was like in the early developments of it. So this wasn't probably what like he's talking about now. I've seen like the new VR where they're talking about with these quarterbacks, and teams have actually done stuff like this to actually test guys when they're looking at drafting players, right? I know the Baltimore Ravens have a system where they do that. They'll basically show flashes on the screen. They'll show like a defensive personnel, and then like it goes to something different real quick, and like you have to tell like the coach like, hey, what you're expecting or what's going to happen based off what you said. There's all type of technology. In terms of how they're asking him to use it, people are like, why didn't Alabama think about it? I mean, maybe they did use it. I'm going to have to ask around and see if they were still using that kind of stuff. But it is clearly becoming more popular. Obviously, technology is consistently growing. But if he can take advantage of that, just like we saw Jaden Daniels doing, we saw the progression from a guy like Jaden Daniels, man, I'm really excited about that. Because if you think about it, I mean, you don't always have to be in a game to find me or practice. Like you talk about going through reads and progressions, that's something you actually can work out in a VR setting. And I think it could be very beneficial. So we'll have to see. Chase, let's I see you said that we got an app message from Tia. Let's go ahead and see what Tia's got to say with this app message as we come up on this next break.
You got it, Christian. She said Josh Pate put out a tweet basically saying who is the most powerful coach in college football. It was a lot of Kirby Smart replies and people saying it's not even close, but I disagree. Kirby Smart can't be college football's most powerful coach. Georgia's arrests show he lacks control. Saban's throne is empty. Think about it. Not to sound like a homer, but DeBoer at Bama might be it. Go overseas, ask someone who knows nothing about college football. They'll say Alabama. That's power. I think if Kalen DeBoer showed his personality more, it wouldn't even be close.
Man, I don't know. I mean, Chase, do you want to respond to that real quick? I mean, like, so is she saying in the regard of like the most powerful, meaning like most influential, most just has the most aura? Everybody says aura now. I mean, I'm trying to think. I get the Kirby responses. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's won how many national championships has he won in the past couple years? I mean, I get that part of it. I mean, he is kind of the closest thing to a Nick Saban, not just by winning. I'm just saying in general. So I get that response. If not him, then I mean, Kalen DeBoer. I feel like it's too early to say Kalen DeBoer personally. He's only been here 1 year. Obviously, last year for a first-year coach, not bad. I mean, it was pretty good. Obviously, we had our fair share of lows and missed opportunities. But for a first-year coach here, I mean, 9 wins was some type of record, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I think it's too early to say the most powerful coach for Kalen DeBoer. That's just my opinion. I get where she's going with it, but I don't know if I would. Personally, I wouldn't put him there right now. Depending on how this next year goes. But let me ask you, Chase. I mean, do you have another coach that comes to mind? I mean, to me, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the safe answer is a guy like Kirby. But I respect her answer about, well, he lacks control of his team. His culture there is a little bit in shambles. It seems like, it's arrest after arrest. Not seems like it literally is. And it said in like a 1 year thing. I mean, this has been for years now that he's failed to clean that up with his culture. That's what I'm trying to. So I guess if you're looking at it as a whole, I mean, that's going to be tough. If you're talking about just by athletic performance, I feel like Kirby might have to get the nod. Talk about consistency, then obviously their pair of national championships in recent years is a big one. What do you think, Chase? I mean, who would you say is the most powerful coach in college football?
I hate to agree, but I think it's Kirby right now in terms of like current coaches. Christian, Ryan Day was somebody I was thinking about, but like he just hasn't won a lot lately. Obviously, last year he won, but you look at past seasons, it's just kind of it's not there yet. Dabble Sweeney, at what point I think he was one of the most powerful coaches until he kind of lost the transfer portal and his stance on that. I feel like someone in the running, hopefully with how much NIL they're getting, allegedly, Steve Sarkisian, right? I think he could take Nick Saban's spot, but I don't see killing the board for right now, to say the least. I don't see that, but if he continues to kind of build what I think he can do with his college football coaching experience, I think he can take the throne, but I would say right now it's Kirby for sure.
Well, I mean, I agree with you, and someone else who agrees with you is Chat GPT, which I know that's kind of crazy to say, but yes, Chat GPT. I asked it while you were answering, Chase, and they say, as of May 2025, Kirby Smart is widely regarded as the most powerful coach in college football. Following Nick Saban's retirement, Smart has solidified his position as the top at the top through a combination of on-field success, elite recruiting, and program stability. They might not be aware of the culture things we just mentioned, but let's carry on. Career highlights: 2 national championships over at Georgia, 21 and 22, so back-to-back titles. 3 SEC titles, SEC record of 29 game winning streak, 94 and 16 career record, 42 and 2 record over the past 3 seasons. Smart has built Georgia into a perennial powerhouse, consistently finishing in the top 7 of the final AP poll every year since his second season. His Bulldogs have played for or won an SEC title or national title in 6 of the last 7 seasons. And then it goes on and offers more detail. I mean, you talk about Chat GPT, man. It's kind of crazy how it comes up with all this stuff. But anyway, program stability, it says under his leadership, he's maintained a consistent coaching staff and culture, contributing to sustained success. So that's what it meant about that. Okay, so that makes sense. I was about to say, if we're talking about the culture struggles there, the issues off the field, that part, but I get it. They're saying more so about retaining guys, coaching staff. I get that. That way the culture is consistent. I agree with that. That is true. That is true. They've kept some consistency on their staff throughout the years, which Dabo was doing for a while. One thing about Dabo's staff, it has a lot of former players, a lot of his own former players. I thought it was cool. We always talk about Coach Cochran and what he's been doing over at West Alabama, but Dabo is kind of doing that over there. They got Ben Bulwer on staff. I think Taj Boyd and CJ Spiller all are members of his coaching staff. We got to hit another timeout. We come back. We wrap things up right here on the first ever 11-1 edition of the Miller's Edge. Funny enough, we used to be 11-12, then we went 12-2. Now we're 11-1. So make sure you guys pencil that in. Again, we are live over on YouTube, live on Tide 100.9. Love having everybody join us. Quick timeout. We wrap things up right here on the Miller's Edge. Harrison and JMO don't get hurt. Kirby doesn't win either of those titles. They were torching Georgia's defense. Hey, man, Mike, I'm not going to lie to you, man. You got a point. I do feel like if you don't have those injuries in that game, Bama wins. At least what was it? Was it 21? I think it was that was year. I think that was the year. Yeah, 2021. Yeah, I got to go with Georgia on that. Or excuse me, Kirby Smart at Georgia, man. There's just not anybody else that really has had the consistency and performance that he's had over the last, even if you just say last 5 years. But I do think this year that I don't know if I think they might be on that continued trajectory a little bit on the downside of things. Q Shep, is that Q06? What's up, Q? Yeah, we're gonna see though. We only got a few minutes. If you guys got any questions, man, feel free. We'll go over them real quick, wrap up the show. If not, man, been a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Looking forward to doing it again tomorrow. Again, it's gonna be our new thing. We're doing both. So if you normally listen on air, you still can do that. We're still live on Tide 100.9. It's just we're coming on here live. If you like a visual, some people like the visual. Yes, sir. It is Q06. What up, dog? Q06. Roll Tide. Yeah, some people like the visual. They like being able to kind of see, right? I got the little background backdrop too, so I think it's cool. You guys can see. You got the let's see, you got the Panthers helmet, got the Bama helmet. And that actually is my high school helmet. But I'm tempted to put I got my Under Armour All American helmet. I gotta find that. I think it's in storage, but I might put that on there too. But that ball right there, I think it's our national championship ball. And then you can see over here we got the Panthers jersey, Bama jersey. So we're representing, guys. We're representing. So, but good to be back on here, man. Good to be back on here. But again, if you guys got any questions, real quick before we wrap things up, we got probably about 3-4 minutes when we come back. We can hit it real quick. If not, roll up out of here. Be ready to do it tomorrow. Yeah, Q06. So new time, man. So yeah, we shuffled some things around. So now we're 11-1. So just slide it on back an hour. But everything else is the same. It's just 11-1. We just slid it on back. So make sure you pencil that in. I know a lot of people are gonna be confused because they're probably gonna be tuning in 1 to 2 and be like, wait, what's going on? But yeah, no, we just slid it 1 hour earlier. That's all it is. Let's see. Excuse me. Yes, sir.
It's an afternoon, partly to mostly sunny, the high 72. Mostly fair and cool tonight, the low 52. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a high at 78. Then for Wednesday, cloudy with occasional rain. Wednesday's high at 73. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 70 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Time 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Just a quick reminder as we wrap things up again. New showtime. Everything else still the same. Just changed it up to 11-1. Slid it up 1 hour. Or I guess I should say we slid it back 1 hour. So make sure you guys pencil that in, get adjusted to that. Plus, if you guys prefer a visual, you can join our folks over here on our YouTube channel. We are streaming live. If you guys want to watch me do the show, you now have that option as we are doing the show live over on YouTube as well. So appreciate everybody that's been hanging out with us on YouTube. Everybody, per usual, on the radio, on the app. You know, we got listeners all over. So shout out to everybody, man. As we come to a close, let's read some of these responses that we have. Tia dropped that app message about the most powerful coach in college football. First one, we got QD. Not to be confused with Q06, who is now in our YouTube chat talking with us. But QD says, as on the field consistently winning, I would have to go with Kirby Smart as the most powerful coach in college football. I agree. That's kind of what I was going with. I mean, in terms of the consistency, I mean, really, I mean, talk about back-to-back national championships. I mean, you talk about his process being as close to Coach Saban's as anybody else. I mean, what ChatGPT said, I mean, they've won, obviously the back-to-back championships, but also 3 SEC titles. They had the SEC record of a 29-game winning streak, 94-16 career record, 42-2 over the past 3 seasons. I mean, I don't really know who else I would throw in there. Tia responds and says, when you say the most powerful college football coach, here's what I'm referring to: program control, recruiting influence, media impact, institutional support, global brand, ethical reputation, adaptability, fan base, loyalty. I mean, Tia, that's a lot of. I feel bad for your husband or future husband, man. You're gonna have him. He's probably going to check off all the boxes. You're throwing in a whole bunch of criteria. Program control. Well, I mean, obviously they're struggling. I would give them, and we graded them on this. I mean, program control, they'd probably get a freaking F. Recruiting influence, they recruit well, right? A, I would say. Media impact, it's probably not going to be great. Institutional support, global brand. As much success they've had, I mean, their brand is not even, in my opinion, it's still not even touching Alabama's. Not close. Obviously, people know the G, but the G and the A aren't not even comparable, man. The A just has so much influence. Ethical reputation, adaptability. Look, if you're going off of all that criteria, obviously you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to think about it a little bit more. So I get what you're saying. If you're just saying who has the most power, I guess you're not really going so much. You're saying maybe on field matters, maybe 25%, 30, 40%. I get what you're saying. But to me, that's more about the brand than the coach. But I guess if you're saying that, but if they're at the helm of that brand, then they have that power. I get what you're saying. I get why you brought up the Caleb and the board thing. That's a good point, Mike. And Mike mentioned the lowest graduation rate as well. And y'all are going in on those guys. Yeah, so we're looking at all those factors. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I might have to think some more. I mean, I could see how Caleb DeBoer would be in that conversation. Maybe Texas, like Chase mentioned, Ohio State. But see, that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's too murky. We'll clarify it some more. What we are going to do is, unfortunately, we're going to wrap things up because we got to pass it. Normally, I'm used to passing it over to Ryan Fowler. Now we're passing to Wyatt with T-Town Sports. But want to say thank you to everybody that's been tuned in, whether you're listening live on radio, live on the app, live over on our YouTube channel, hanging out with us. Again, we are going to start doing that daily as well. Live 11 to 1 on all platforms, Tide 100.9, but also YouTube at The Miller's Edge. Make sure you guys check us out there. But it's been fun. Looking forward to the new setup, the new time, and everything that comes with it. This has been The Miller's Edge, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. See you guys tomorrow.
You've been listening to The Miller's Edge, tackling sports daily.
All right, guys. Well, that will do it for us today. Again, if you guys haven't, man, drop us a like. That always helps us out. I forgot you always can go rewatch this. If you're rewatching this, drop us a like. That helps us out. Subscribe if you haven't. And again, we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Again, 11 to 1 new start time, but we'll be here live as well. Crystal, we'll catch you tomorrow. Yeah, please. And tell everybody, send it to your friends if they're Bama fans or whatever. They want to listen to a show, man. We got some good stuff planned. We'll start getting some more guests on here and start growing this thing again, having some fun with it. But appreciate you guys, man. We'll see you guys tomorrow.